Alright, Judy, here we go. So today's lesson, we're going to use this for the next piece I want you to work on, but it's going to be important to kind of understand this concept of a different type of movable chord than we may have used before. But we're going back to the old D shape, okay, just regular old D, and this is where it's important, this part right here. Okay, this is D, and just so you can see what we're talking about here, so the fourth string obviously is an open D. First finger is playing the A on the third string right now, second fret. Our third finger is playing D on the second string, and our our middle finger is playing the second fret F sharp on the first string. So we have D, F sharp, and A make up the triad that's the D chord, but they're playing in the order of F sharp, D, A. Okay, those three notes are making up the chord. The main thing you got to remember is this finger right here is playing the root. Alright, so if we take that chord and we move it up so that root is anywhere it wants to be on that string, it still plays a chord relative to that one note. D, E, F, G, A, and B. And the reason I can say that is I'm only playing those three notes. They form a cluster and they're moving the entire time. There's no open note to speak of. Okay, so that's the chord we're talking about. Now, if we include the open D in it, it just makes it a richer sounding chord. Okay, but here's what I want to do next. So I can get this so you can see it. I want to make this a D7. Okay, now just to review, when you make a chord a 7 chord, we're adding the note that is a minor seventh above the root. Another way to think about that is you're adding the note that is a whole step behind the octave. Okay, so if it goes D to D, the whole step behind the root D up at the top here is going to be the C that's on your first fret there. Okay, but in order to play that, we got to move our fingers around because this is the note D that's got to move, but these two fingers have to stay these two notes have to stay the same. Okay, the A and the F sharp are important still, and they have to be there. But it's impossible to get a finger on the C and keep that shape with the same fingers. So what we got to do is move things around. Okay, so remember, we're trying to keep these two notes still playing, A and F sharp, while playing the C as well. So C is going to be played with your first finger, second finger is going to play A, and third finger is going to play F sharp. So you still have, what am I doing here? You still have these two notes that are playing the chord that would make up the D chord, but now we've made it a D7 by including that first finger. Okay, now without the open D, it sounds a little strange. Okay, it's a different chord if there is no root D in it, because this changes it all. Actually sounds like the beginning of My Three Sons, I think, if I'm right about that. So you've got a D7 now, an open D, and you've got your A, your C, and your F sharp. Okay, which means if you take these three fingers and move them up, they should still play a movable chord. And it still keeps that seventh sound. But having that root in the bass note is what really, really helps. Okay, so just to play around with this for a second, here's your D7. And you can do what I'm doing, which is playing the arpeggio, or just drag it with your thumb. Okay, so D7. What I want you to get used to this week is switching from a D to a D7. Okay, as fast as you can. Alright, if you can go 1, 2, 3, 4. By the end of this week, it'd be amazing. It's really hard to do, actually. You're just going to train your fingers to go back and forth quickly. Using that, though, we're using that open D. So we might as well just take our thumb and play the root. This is what I showed you earlier in the week. Thumb's playing the root. First finger plays the third string. Middle finger plays the second string. And the A finger, the ring finger, is playing the first string. So you have this. Okay, so it's just like having a pinch, but you're separating it, thumb and then the other three fingers. So on paper it would look like P and then I-M-A, P, I-M-A. All right, now you can do the pinch if you want to, but the main goal right now, I say, is switching from this chord D to D7 while also doing the P, I-M-A, like this. Okay, that's what we're going for. So D and D7. Alright, that's all I want you to get out of this week. You still got some stuff to work on with hogwash, so I'm cool with just this week. I want you to understand that chord can move up, but I also want you to really work on just noticing how the chord moves from a regular old standard chord to being a 7th chord by having that first finger play the 7, okay? And just remember, without the D in it, it still kind of feels like a D7, but the lower note D is what makes it feel like a real D7. Okay, otherwise it just sounds like this. You can't pick out what the root is because the D is not playing. But with the D in it, it gets the frame of reference. Okay, that's it. That's all I want you to do. I'll write a chord chart for you too so you can see that. Have a good one.